by regenerating the economy, and I would begin, in my opinion, by abolishing income tax. That would enthuse the middle class, and ultimately the middle class is our driving, cutting edge of our economy. And then, of course, go to agriculture. Narasimha Rao's main mistake, why he lost the election. Remember, every reformer, whether it is Narasimha Rao or Chandrababu Naidu or in Karnataka, Krishna, they all lost elections. Why did they lose elections? Because under the Soviet system, an entrenched vested interest has grown, which lives on being lobbyists, on being touts, on people who can manage things for you. They are very, very entrenched, and many political parties are also built on that. So when you deregulate, they immediately see their losses, immediately it takes place. But the beneficiaries do not see the benefits immediately. It comes slowly. They say filter down, whatever it is, it will take time. So when you design an economic reform, you should design some things which bring immediate relief. So people say, yes, something is happening, something for us also. Otherwise they say this whole reform is for rich people. So therefore I say income tax, middle class happy. The rich don't pay any income tax, they got chartered accountants to do the job. Whether it's satyam or asatyam, but they get it done. And the poor don't have money to pay income tax. So who pays income tax is basically the middle class and through trade international. So liberate them. What about the poor? Agriculture is generated, textile is generated, employment is generated. One of the things that the failures have been lack of growth in employment. So you need to design your economic reform in such a way that people begin to see things happening. Not only being told that this is filtered down, it will happen soon, or the world will praise you depending on their interests. You don't have to worry about the world at all. But what you have to do is to get your people enthused to get for you. So I would say don't despair. In 1975-77, when I was fighting the emergency, almost everybody told me this is the way of the future. The dynasty has finally come. It will be Indira Gandhi, then Sanjay Gandhi, then Sanjay Gandhi's dog, but not you. And why are you fighting the whole third world? Where is democracy? Democracy doesn't work. And there was no way I could tell the people, no, democracy will come back. I only had to say, therefore, well, we'll keep fighting to hell with the consequences. And one day, suddenly, Mrs. Gandhi herself declared the election, and she lost the election also. So this is something I could not have predicted. So therefore, do the right thing, and results will come. And I think the Indian past history shows whenever there's a crisis, we have responded very well. I'm sure that this crisis will also produce a golden period of economic growth for India. After maybe a year, it can be done sooner, depending on the policies that we follow. But there is enough resilience, and we will definitely be an economic power. We were an economic power only 400, 500 years ago. And in the richest moment of our history, we got conquered. So it's not poverty which is dangerous for us. Richness is also dangerous for us. It's the mindset which is required. It's not your numbers. Just because you have a billion people, there will be 1,000 goats and one tiger will come and all the goats will run away. All 1,000 will run away. Or not, it is your inherent strength, because in a circus you will have 5 lions and one thin ringmaster, and he'll crack the whip and all the 5 lions will obey him. Even though the ringmaster is standing right before them, each one of them is enough what to talk with their teeth, they can with their paw knock him down completely. But they obey him because that's the mind. That's the problem today with India. We have numbers, we have the mind of a circus lion, and we have to therefore come out of that and think of fresh. And I think therefore we were once upon a developed country, we can become developed again. We must learn from our history. But democracy is not a spectator sport. It is not like watching 2020. You have to participate in it. How, in what form you will participate in it, you have to decide. I'm not saying everybody of you has to contest an election. But those who have dared to do this time, like Ms. Sonia in Bombay and some other people here, they, of course, because election is not just popularity, it's also machinery, it's also organization, it's also knowing how to bring people to the polling booth, etc. It's a very gigantic operation. It's not simply somebody standing up and people saying, wow, it's a wonderful person. They don't vote like that. But still, they tried. I praise that, and I would like all of us, in the greater glory of India in the future, to become participants in the democratic process rather than spectators. Thank you very much.
Friends, that was an exhilarating presentation by Rahul Swamy. I do want to invite some questions from the floor, but before I open it up, I have two questions for you. You talked about the depletion of foreign exchange reserves is because of participating notes being called back, participating notes being called back. But you also said the participating notes are actually money for the politicians, and therefore why would politicians want to take back the money? Because there's no place to invest other than India.
No. The participatory notes is managed by Fidelity Insurance Investments, Morgan Stanley and so on. And the politicians are only interested in the rate of return. And so they'll get a higher rate of return in the United States than they'll get from India now. And it will be in dollars. They won't have the problem of convertibility. So therefore, these managers immediately took out the money and sent it abroad. The politician is not. There's no patriotism in this at all. The politicians say, "Oh, India is the best place for me." He wants a return, and these mutual funds, they manage it.
Thank you. The second question is that you talked about the removal of income tax for removal of personal income tax, but harassment is significantly more, corruption is significantly more in corporate income tax, not personal income tax.
Well, I think corporate income tax, what you can do is if the corporates spend for the employees, like building a school, health, scholarships for their children going abroad, transportation, housing, so on. All these should be made tax exempt. And then I think the money that will be left over will be so small that you will be ready to pay the tax anyway. I don't think that's a problem. I agree with you. Income tax, I told you, the ideal solution is to send the CRP and DSF and put a lock on the income tax department. But we have to do it in a way that doesn't destabilize the system. So that's why I'm saying first start with this. Take indirect taxes. I would say if you look at the top 25 commodities, they will be accounting for 90% of the indirect tax. So why have indirect tax on the sales tax and all these things for the others? Just remove, except for 25, don't have it for anybody else. That will clean up the system. So those are what I would call as not black and white measures, but grey measures by which we make a sequence. But the shock value will come when you abolish personal income tax.
All right, thank you. I just want to bring back the subject which you said we'll cover later on. Just India versus China.